Okay. Space King. Oh man, that's dark. There we go.
Karma
Wow.
71
Much
Sevin,
better.
Karma 71 Sevin, Karma
Anxiety
71
Selvin.
Sevin.
Welcome. So, I have some miniatures here. I printed these off Cults or Thangs or something like that. I don't know. These are just let's get a nice tight cut here. Yes, these are the miniatures from Space King. Who's this guy here? It's Bryce. Yeah, that's Bryce, the inventor. Sadie, have you seen Space King?
Huh? What? Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, man, I love Space King. Yeah. Whoa, go for Space King.
Oh yeah, who's your favorite character?
Hate Monger. Yeah, love Hate Monger.
Oh yeah, Hate Monger. Oh, he's pretty cool. This episode wasn't about Hate Monger though. This episode was about what's his name? Bryce. Yeah, Bryce. First, you gotta fill up our pot with water. That's drinking water. You don't drink it though. This is from my drinking jug. Okay. Cute emotes. Okay. Got my thing here. Let's start with the captain. So I just have a shot glass here and I just put some blue putty on it. Stick the captain on here so you not break him in half. It's pretty good. Pretty tight fit. It's been a while since I painted, so I might get a couple things wrong. The captain from I wonder if I can bring up a reference to him. He's a red guy, right? He looks like this.
Joey? What the hell is that?
What? This? This thing?
Yeah, Joey, why do you have a sex toy on your desk?
No, no, no. This is a massage gun. See? Use it to mix the paints.
Ah, yeah, no one's buying that.
Okay, okay. No. See, look. You just take the massage gun. You just put it on the paint. But otherwise, you're just shaking the paint all day. This paint's so good. It looks pretty good. We're just gonna grab that brush is too thick.
Massage gun.
Yes, the massage gun. Hold on, it's getting a little uppity. You gotta turn it off now. Okay, yeah. That's part of the painter's toolkit. Nobody talks about the massage gun.
Yeah, no, I wonder why.
Okay, but yeah, back to Space King. Let's grab one of these brushes here. Should really get like a paper towel. I'm just gonna like brush it off with my finger. Okay, I'm just gonna grab a little bit of paint from the pot. Put it on our wet palette. And we'll get a nice tight zoom in again. Okay, so here is our Psycho Warrior Captain, totally not a Space Marine. We're just going to start putting a thin layer of red on them. This looks like it's about the same red as what they use in Space King. Honestly, it's been a while since... Let's bring that light in a little bit tighter. It's been a while since I've actually painted anything. So let's start with something easy. These guys... Strangely enough, I know this is like a parody of Warhammer 40k Space King, but these guys are actually really easy to paint. Like Space Marines are supposed to be easy to paint because they have really big pauldrons and shit.
The fuck is a pauldron? You're just making shit up now, Joey.
No, a pauldron. It's like a shoulder armor. Let's get the paint a little wet again. I keep blocking in his armor. I should really bring up a reference. I know his helmet is blue and the rest of his armor is red. I guess they couldn't afford to make... Well, not they couldn't afford. I guess they just couldn't get him to be blue because it's too Space Marine-y, right? Like, you know, like Games Workshop owns blue armor. But yeah, not the red works. Although I guess they couldn't make him fully red either. Because he's very rage. So you see the rage in his face. You can get it to... See, now the camera focus is nice. Look at that. That looks so nice. I don't know why the camera, like, selectively chooses not to focus on thing I'm painting. I'm gonna wet. Just beat the devil out of it. More paint on there. But yeah, Space King. It's a very genius series. I'm not gonna lie. It's very clever. Like if you watch it, it's very funny, very punchy, right? But what it's trying to achieve is actually quite genius. Let me explain it to you. So it is a parody, you know, that's clear. It's a parody of what? Warhammer 40K, right? But what a lot of people forget is that Warhammer 40K is a parody of sci-fi. Yes, it is. Now, let's get a bit into the nitty-gritty of parody, you see?
You're boring everyone, Joey. Stop boring us.
Don't be me. Don't be me. This is the time I get to be what's the phrase I'm thinking of? In inductive? No, not inductive. It's like philosophical, but like thinking about the inside feelings. Anyway, grab our paintbrush, get some more red paint. This is Evil Sun Scarlet, by the way, by Citadel Paint. I just have a lot of these Citadel paints I bought because Warhammer was having a sale online a couple years ago, and I just couldn't turn it down because I was buying a lot of Dark Angels. Anyway, enough with the nerd talk. Yeah, so Warhammer 40K is a parody of sci-fi, but not just any kind of parody, because there's 3 different types of parody, right? There is just out of the way. Yeah, there's 3 different types of parody. There's inversion parody, which is like what you see with Shrek. There is it's not reduction parody. It's called like reductive. Oh man, how am I forgetting this? See, you're gonna hate me, SAT. This is the type of parody that you are.
What the fuck did you just call me?
You're a type of parody, SAT. You're what South Park is to parodies. That's what you are. Starts with an R. Anyway. Reductive. Hold on. I'm Googling this shit. This is like actually gonna bug me until 3 in the morning until I figure out what it is. And I came here thinking I was all clever and stuff. Cold.
Are these miniatures 3D printed?
Oh yeah, these are 3D printed. I got them off Thangs. These are supposed to look like the Space King. The Space King came out a couple days ago. I think I printed these off Thangs or Colts or something like that. Strange name for a 3D printed website, but these models are amazing. And they're really easy to print. Is parody. Thank you, College of Arts. Not a spoof, not a satire. Satire is also what South Park is, but it's not a satire I'm thinking of. Inversion. Trivialization. I don't know why I thought it had an R. Trivialization. That's it's kind of like Archer. And finally there is exaggeration parody. Exaggeration parody is like what you see with like One Punch Man. Or even actually Dragon Balls. The Dragon Ball Z is kind of an exaggeration parody, where you just take the aspects of something you're parodying and just exaggerate it to its fullest. Anyway, Space King. What makes it really clever is that it is a parody of a parody. Right? Warhammer 40K is essentially exaggeration parody of sci-fi. Right? It takes place super far in the future, farther than anything else, and everything that happens in it is so over the top. It's hard to describe it as anything else other than exaggeration parody of sci-fi. I'm gonna be bold. I'm gonna get this thick brush, this very hairy thick brush right here. Get a little wet. We're talking about painting here. We're not talking about anything else. Get the hairy thick brush a little wet. We're gonna load it up with paint. You see, the innuendos end there once I start talking about paint again. Anyway, I believe his head is blue and the rest of his armor is red. But yeah, it is. Space King is a trivialization parody of an exaggeration parody. Now that's something I don't actually see a lot, a parody of a parody. And I think it's quite clever. I think a lesser series would probably have a hard time making a parody of a parody, and it lands. Because even if you're not a fan of Warhammer 40k, you could still watch Space King, and it'll still be pretty funny. If you are familiar with 40k, the jokes just have an extra layer of comedy to them, right? Like in the newest episode, what's it called? With the Imaginator from the Galavantas Legion, or however you pronounce it. They basically had what I would describe as a fusion of Necrons, Abominable Intelligence, otherwise known as Men of Iron, and Tyranids, even, because of the AI's ability to quickly adapt to anything that kills it. So, what is trivialization parody? It's weird to kind of become like a video essay. I just have a lot to talk about it. Trivialization parody, let's load up the brush again. Trivialization parody is essentially when you take aspects of a series that are meant to be sort of glossed over, or parts that are just sort of so complicated that it is used to explain what's doing in a narrative sense. Essentially, it just takes what's given for granted, right? In a TLDR form, it takes what someone takes for granted in a series and its mechanics, and it trivializes it, right? If you look at South Park, right, it takes very complicated scenarios and it tries to, being like, oh, it's just this, it's just that, in a very sort of comedic way. One thing I noticed about trivialization parody in general, and not just South Park, but a lot of trivialization parody, like even Archer, right, is that it tends to use a lot of profanity, which is fine, if it's funny, I guess. But I know Space King doesn't use too much. Well, actually, let me not say that. I think it does actually use a fair bit of profanity. But compared to other trivialization parody, I guess it's kind of mild, right? In terms of its F word per hour or F word per series, if you want to look at it that way. Regardless, its execution of trivialization of Warhammer is very clever, because in Warhammer you have, like, let's take an example. In Warhammer you have this very complicated mechanic called Gene Seed, right? Gene Seed is just how you make more Space Marines, and it's a very complicated process that logistically doesn't make a whole lot of sense. In other words, every Space Marine requires years of training, has a high failure rate, and requires very expensive, limited organs to be transplanted. And at any point in this process of making a Space Marine, you'll likely end up with not a Space Marine, but a servitor or something, essentially a failure. Yet somehow we still have a lot of Space Marines. Anyway, back to Gene Seed. Gene Seed is very experimental, complicated process. Well, not process. It's specialized extra organs given to the Space Marines that make them super or extra human or whatever. And you can look into the lore of what each organ does. But the trivialization version of that in Space King is very funny. They just have these things called globules, which are just two organs that are placed in the and that's all it takes to make a Psycho Warrior. That's it, which is very funny. In fact, like they do several jokes with it where, like, they just take one of their spare boys, give them like two globules, and then in like 2 frames they just snap into a Psycho Warrior. It's hilarious. But you know what? It's also kind of genius, I'll be honest. It's very clever. Another thing is with, like, all of the enemies of mankind, because in Space King, they're as far as I've seen, there are no demons. Everything is just an alien, right? Which is kind of a trivialization of the enemies of mankind's enemies, right? Like in Warhammer, you have, like, humanity has no isn't starving for enemies. Most of them are Xenos, but you also have demons, which aren't Xenos, and occasionally Abominable Intelligence, which aren't Xenos either. But in Space King, all of the enemies of mankind, or all enemies of Space King, are just Xenos. They're all just aliens. Like, even the demons that look like demons, they're just aliens. Now that's just a non-funny use of trivialization, but I think it's very cleverly used, because if Space King started to get like aliens, or not aliens, if Space King started to get like demons and stuff and all kinds of business, it would kind of overcomplicate it, which would defeat the purpose of trivialization, wouldn't it? Right? Great about this is most of his armor is just red. This backpack's red. I'm getting a bit of his face red, but that's fine. We'll paint it over in blue later. Nice Space Marine McCrag blue. Yeah, I love the super shiny, cartoony red. Very nice. I think as we start to get more color, it's going to want to focus. I think maybe I should have primed these in a different color, Because it doesn't want to focus on it. Probably thinks that this model is part of the background, when really this is what the camera should focus on. Because it's too dark. It thinks it's like looking at something in the background right now. My paint's a little too watery. Again, it's been a while since I painted. I haven't painted since like last stream. I got a poor Dark Angel sitting there waiting to be painted, missing his legs and arms because I just stopped painting for a bit and then just never got back to it. Don't worry, Dark Angel. You will be finished one day. Honestly, I don't know. I feel like I have a lot to say about parodying Space King. I could probably make a little video essay about it. Why Space King is actually genius, and it's just all the stuff I just said right here. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. Say
Right?
Sadie, wake up. Are you sleeping? Is not an ASMR stream. Just getting all the extra paint off my brushes. But yeah, primed in black. I don't know. Maybe I could have primed it in what's it called? It's primed something. So you prime it in white and then you give it shadow with black. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. Actually, elbows on the table. Let everyone see the paint. It's a bit messy. I'm kind of getting red where it's not supposed to be, but you know what? That's fine. What I'm afraid of is that right there, right here. I'm afraid the sword's going to break off. But there's nothing wrong with pink lasers. Okay. Let's put up a reference. I don't want to put too much red where it don't belong.
Cheater!
It's not cheating. I need a reference. Artists use references all the time.
Oh, now you're an artist.
God. Oh my God, Sadie, please. Space King Captain. Captain looks like. I love this picture of him. Yeah, let's use this picture. This picture's funny. Okay, import image. There we go. Let's put you over here. So I know what you look like. There you go. There's too much water on it. It's too wet. Clean your dirty brush. Pretty much his whole body is red, except for like the side of his abs. And also got to paint in a little skull. It's gonna be hard to do, but I'll figure something out. Maybe I got some stickers around here. Might look a little too thick. We should thin it down. What about his fingers? Elbows on the table. Elbows on the table.
You know, Joey, I'm impressed. You made this?
No, I didn't. I mean, I'm painting it, but I didn't make this model.
Ah, so you stole it.
No, I just printed it and I'm painting it now. Yeah, exactly, right?
They let you print it?
What? I mean, like it was free. Right?
No, but like you like paid them to.
I mean, like I could have, I guess, but it was free though.
So you stole it.
My God, Sadie, please, busting my balls here. Yeah, honestly, the fact that they kind of just took a lot of the enemies of mankind from Warhammer, and they kind of just made them all into one big alien, is pretty clever. Plus, they take a lot of the factions or aspects of each enemy faction and they combine into one. What I would love to see is eventually orcs shown in some capacity, because we had like Slanesh, we had Necrons, artificial intelligence, Tyranids, twice, right? I'd love to see some sort of level of orkiness added. I mean, orcs are just specifically a Xenos type anyway, so you could just literally have orcs, and that wouldn't be. And Tau, of course, Tau shown multiple times. Actually, I think a lot of the like a lot of the alien races that I see in Space King are just kind of Tau. That's kind of how I see them. They're just like very advanced fish people with guns. Uh, yeah, I have yet to see any level of orkiness. I would love Space King 4 to have some aspect of the orcs in them, or even just straight up space orcs. Space orcs would be pretty cool to see. The question is, what would they be in combination with? Because you could just have straight up orcs. Like I don't think Orcs owns orcs, but like, and plus the name Flashgits, isn't that like the name of isn't that a Warhammer 40k orc reference? Like, isn't there some subfaction of orcs called Flashgits or something like that? Because Gits just means like idiot in Orcish, right? Yeah, you get. But yeah, I have yet to see any orcs. I would like to see orcs. I think they're very fun. One thing though I have noticed, and well, not in Space King, but like in parodies in general, is this thing I like to call the death of the parody. It sounds super dramatic. It's not as dramatic as it actually is. But essentially, I've been seeing a lot of parody series that I grew up with starting to become like the thing they're parodying, which is kind of strange, I'll be honest. Like, for example, Shrek. right? Shrek 1 and 2, and even 3 to some extent, are really good parodies, right? They're really good parodies. But the problem is now the Shrek series is starting to feel less like a parody and starting to feel more like the thing it's parodying of, which is what? Disney fairy tale movies, right? Shrek 1, 2, and even 3 for some extent were very much parodies of Disney movies. But now it's starting to feel like just a Disney movie, right? Like if you look at Shrek 1 was kind of revolutionary for its time because it was essentially a Disney fairy tale movie without Disney and with an ogre, what is typically considered a villain, as the protagonist of this fairy tale. Great use of inversion because there's no rule in fairy tales that said that the protagonist can't be an ogre. It's just typically ogres in fairy tales are seen as villains. So making one the protagonist, very clever move. But I saw a bit of the trailer. Well, I saw the trailer. Well, I'm not even sure it's a trailer, but I saw that little sneak peek for Shrek 5, and I'm like, I don't know. Shrek 4 kind of didn't really feel like a parody of Disney fairy tales. Right? Like, where were the jokes? Where are the adult jokes and stuff in Shrek 4 that showed that it was referencing off of Disney fairy tale? It just didn't really seem like they were there. I'm sure if I combed through it, I could probably find one, but it wasn't like in Shrek 1 and 2 and even 3, where the jokes were pretty much inherent to the film and very iconic to, the repertoire of jokes that you would hear. Maybe I'm just saying the joke just didn't hit in Shrek 4, but I'm also saying it didn't really seem like they were spoofing off of Disney fairy tale. It kind of just seemed like they were just making jokes, adult jokes, that didn't really reference Disney fairy tale at all. But you know what? That's fine, but it feels like, I don't know, you're losing the spirit of the parody, if you're no longer parodying the thing anymore that you originally were, and now you should sort of become like a fairy tale. That's what I'm worried about for Shrek 5. I'm afraid it'll feel like it's a Disney fairy tale and it's no longer a parody of Disney fairy tale. Or like, here's a good example: Puss in Boots, right? I love Puss in Boots, great movie in the Shrek universe, but it didn't play like a parody so much of Disney fairy tale, and it played much closer to, I'd say, like a modern fairy tale. Maybe not like an old Disney fairy tale, but like a modern Disney fairy tale. It executed it well, great movie, but I definitely wouldn't call it a parody. It kind of just felt like they were just doing like a telling of the story of Puss in Boots. But of course, you had like Jack Horner and stuff like that. So, some argument could be made there. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of the spirit was lost, and I feel that it's like that with a lot of parodies. I feel like a lot of parodies, they either die a parody or it lives long enough to see itself become the thing it's parodying. Right? Boom, quote right there. Like, I don't know, maybe for example, One Punch Man, right? One Punch Man is exaggeration parody of shonen, but recently it's starting to feel like shonen. Still executed great, still great, but it doesn't feel like a parody anymore. Then again, how long can you carry the old joke of, oh, he just beats everything in one punch and just wait for him to show up and he's just that strong, right? How long can you carry that joke until you just kind of have to do your own thing, which is fine if it's executed well, but also, I don't know, it feels like those first two seasons were kind of special since it was a parody of stuff we've seen, tropes we've seen used so much in shonen. This part just here just doesn't want to dry. Maybe I'm just, this part here where the globule armor, it just doesn't want to dry. It could be I'm just not letting it dry because I keep putting a layer of paint over it before it finishes drying, and it leaves this weird blotchiness to it. So I'll paint something else. I'll paint his chest. Pauldrons. I wonder if I could start painting with blue one now. Let's see here. Where's my McCrag blue? Base Fang? No. We gotta go McCrag blue. I got like 7 bottles of the shit. Give me a new McCrag blue every time you buy anything Ultramarine related. There you go, McCrag blue. Oh, let's get the sex toy back here. Found this tip out on the internet. There you go. I also have some steel balls in here. Wait a minute. Did I just say steel ball? Speaking of steel balls, 'cause I love talking about JoJo's. Steel Ball Run is coming out. We knew this for a little bit, but we recently had a little trailer, and oh boy, do I love it. I love anything JoJo, especially Steel Ball Run related.
Cheap followers on streamboo.com remove the space
Another
at
another
USQ.
robot, the soulless bot. That might be a little bit. Oh no, fuck! I mixed the red with the blue. Let's start using the small brush. Put that brush down. Grab this brush. Going with the blue. I get the angle just right. If I have anything, it is a very patient hand.
Yeah, your girlfriend said the same thing.
No, you don't. Oh my god, do not, Sadie, please. I'm holding you right now. It's really hard to paint while holding you up like this. I wonder if they're ever gonna make this into artificial intelligence. Probably not. That's a stupid idea. I don't know. The defense for artificial intelligence art is very dubious at best. I mean, I see some defenses that are like, "Oh, I wasn't born with artistic talent." I'm like, "What? No, nobody's born with that. Are people born with that? Is that like a thing? I don't think that's a thing. I don't think anyone's really born with it. I definitely wasn't born with it. Called practice. I mean, I guess I was born with the ability to see. If you mean like if you mean that, yeah, I can see and like imitate stuff that I see and use like visualization and stuff like that. Um, even then, even without the ability to see, you still become a good artist. You know, like take a look at Mozart. Like he couldn't hear, he made great music. Where's the Beethoven I'm thinking of? It was Beethoven. I don't know. I was a friend. I'd watch Curb Your Enthusiasm today. A very specific episode. I can't do it. Yeah, I've been getting to Curb Your Enthusiasm. Very funny show. What's great about Curb Your Enthusiasm is the creator, right? Larry Bird. Sorry, not Larry Bird. Larry David. Larry Bird's the was he a baseball player? Something like that. I don't know. No, or was it basketball? I don't remember. I don't keep up with sports. But anyway, Larry David. He's like a writer for Seinfeld, and the show is about him in real life being once a writer for Seinfeld, right? And what's funny about it is he writes himself, since he's the protagonist, he writes himself as kind of like the villain of his own show, which is hilarious, right? Like no one really likes him. He's a liar. He's kind of annoying. He always ends up in scenarios where he ends up offending somebody. And it's very funny. It's very cleverly done to write yourself as like the Squidward of your own show. Curb Your Enthusiasm would recommend. Y'all might probably be familiar with the memes of Curb Your Enthusiasm, or the meme. There's only one. It's just the theme of Curb Your Enthusiasm, where like something awkward happens between two people, and then it plays the Curb Your Enthusiasm opening. Is this? It looks shiny, right? The globule part still looks shiny, so that means the paint is still wet, and that's still wet. The chest is not though.
Really focusing on that chest, Joey. You sure you're not
Ahem what? Ahem what? Ahem what, SAT? I'm not gay. I'm pan. Totally different. Totally different, Sadie. Put up on brush. The Nurglite fly bothering me right now while I'm trying to paint. It's hard to get the brush into these little creases and crevices.
Why do you care? No one's even gonna look there.
I'll look, Sadie. I'll know it's there.
You'll look, huh? Why would you look? Like why?
It's a bit of perfectionist. This is a great perfectionist hobby. Get to really get into the nitty gritty of everything. Great for feeding your perfectionism. Blue now. I'm not sure if these pick up, but they're these weird little sticks. Those are probably just supports from the print. show up. They're gonna be right underneath his like head broom. You see that? There's 4 of them right there. Don't ignore the middle one. That's supposed to be there. Do better like this, maybe. 4 little sticks that are kind of annoying the hell out of me every time I try to paint. Let's see what tools I have. I haven't used this tool in a while. There we go. The unnecessary 3-armed magnifying glass. But why use that when I actually have the cup, right? I need something like a file or like some little cutter things. I do have a knife here though. It's nice to get it out. 1, 2, 8. That'll do. Sorry, cutlery. Excuse me.
Joey, why do you keep a knife in your drawer?
Same reason I keep a gun in the shelf. Where's my brush? Let's use this nice starter brush that it gives you. But I think we're doing pretty good with this one, honestly. Okay, not bad. Let's get some black. Let's see. Hey, Abaddon black here. Agrax Earthshade. Black. Warlock. There we go. Abaddon black. This will be pretty. Oh. Put a couple steel balls in here. That is smooth right out of the pot. Okay, let's put a little of Abaddon black right here, right above the Mephiston red. Careful not to get it to mix too much. Let's paint in the abs. I wish I had a base for your little buddy boy, but I don't have a base for you. You're just gonna have to stand up until I get my bases in. Unfortunately, all my bases are somewhere in my plastic pile of shame, so I have to be baseless for now, unbased. Probably better that way. It gives me more time to actually work on a functioning looking, well, not functional, but an aesthetic looking base, you know? Load up the brush again. I think some black right in between all the joints is probably about right. Right here in the weenus of the arm. Thinner brush. This is too thick. Too thick to get the level of detail I want right now. This is a pretty thin brush. It's a 1 for lust. Oh yeah, that's thin. That's thin. Above the knee. And a little bit of black right above the knee right there. Now this guy prints it all in one piece. Dun 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 dun. It doesn't come in parts, but it's a great print. It's a great one. I love it. Let's see. Let's put the small brush back. We'll get a bigger brush. Let's try this one. This brush. Get this brush. You know, I once had a brush set that came with a brush that was bent. I thought I bent it. I thought I broke it. Turns out it's supposed to come like that. It's just meant to be a brush to get in craft. I had no idea. I thought I just bent it, and I just didn't know. Ahem. Sadie, what? No bless you?
Ah, bless you, jeez. I think you were so sensitive. Jeez, you gonna cry about it?
Oh wow. If I knew I was gonna get that, I wouldn't have sneezed at all.
Hi.
Jackson, how you doing? Just painting some miniatures right now. This is a Space King captain model. Cute emoji. Hold on, let me zoom in. Can't really
Clark
tell.
Durkoy's looking up.
Hector coin? Not familiar with that emoji. I like it. Okay, let's get some more red. Okay. These are great models for honestly for beginner people that aren't too used to painting. Fuck! I painted over the armpit bend right there in red. It's supposed to stay black. That's fine. I'll just go over it later. But yeah, these are great models to start out with. I 3D printed these ones off Thangs, I think, or Colt, something like that. Because their armor is really big. It's very wide. Very easy to block in your colors without having to worry about details and stuff like that. You see, this is a great design. Done glazing the design? No, not yet. This is awesome. Very therapeutic just to paint in, block in giant pauldrons like this, you know. No, I think I think the Holy Globule armor is finally done being wet, and I could paint another layer onto it. It's gonna load up some more suns. But yeah, Space King 3, very funny. Lots of memorable quotes from it. Like that time Bryce called that Imaginator from the what the fuck was his legion called? Invigoron? No. Fuck. What was the name of that legion? The purple one. Dancers? No. Prancers? No, that's not it. Gallivantis Legion. There we go. Gallivantis Legion. But yeah, you know, Space King, it's very Warhammery. Honestly, the names, because, you know, a lot of names in Warhammer feel kind of like parodies. No, take a shot every time I say parody, right? A lot of the names in Warhammer, like base, just sound kind of like parodies, right? Like Tech Priests and Psychers and stuff. Like, you know, you could literally just have like a guy's name is literally Agron. Oh, I wonder what his thing is being angry, right? Man's name is literally Agron. But Space King seems to take it a step further. Like, I love the name Imaginators. So they're basically the inventors and stuff. Or like the, right? But they don't call them inventors. They call them Imaginators, which is exactly what I would imagine Warhammer would, on the nose, call their inventors if they didn't already have a name for them. Imaginators. You imaginate something for us. Also, I can't help but notice that Space King is very Metalocalypse coded. I'm not sure if it's just Flash Gets to animations in general or have a lot of inspirations from Metalocalypse. Like for example, High Command, right? It's a big skeleton guy. That big skeleton guy reminds me of the fuck's that guy's name from Metalocalypse? Facebones? Hey, it's me, Facebones. I got a PSA for you. Don't stick your hands inside of the shredder or it won't be very metal. Yeah, and the AI that was voiced by Meat Canyon in Space King 3, right? Like the big AI, who's also like a Flayed One and a Tyrannid and also an Abominable Intelligence Man of Iron. His design reminds me a lot of the fuck was that guy's name from Metalocalypse? Nibbler? I think it was Nibbler, right? It's like, okay, guys, we gotta get back to the studio, guys. We gotta record another hit single underwater, guys. Nibbler, something like that. That was his name. He was like their producer or something. He had like robot eyes. Yeah, the AI acted and kind of reminded me a lot of Nibbler from Metalocalypse. Very Metalocalypse coding. And of course, Captain's voice is just Nathan Explosion. It's me, Nathan Explosion. I got something here for you. I got a new company coming up. Yeah, wait, no, that's not Nathan Explosion. How does Nathan Explosion talk? Yeah, it's pretty metal. Oh fuck! That mean Hate Monger is just fuck. That means Hate Monger is just Murderface. Hate Monger is just William Murderface. They act the same. It's like the exact same character. It's just William Murderface. Oh fuck! And then that means okay. This is Nathan Explosion. Hold on, I think I got the other models. This is Pickles, I guess. This is Bryce. This is Pickles. Not really. That one doesn't really fit. Chestnut. He's just Toki Wartooth, actually. He's just Toki Wartooth. Toki Wartooth. Very Metalocalypse coded. If you've never seen Metalocalypse, you'll get it. Very, very metal. The red seems to be on pretty thick. I don't really see any spots where the red is kind of. Like, I gotta put a second coat of red on this. Like, no worries about that. Get Evil Sun's red for this.
What with dark paint?
New Yorkers, how you doing? What with dark paint? I mean, like, if you mean the Abaddon black paint, I barely have any left. That's gonna be that's basically just gonna be the highlights, the Abaddon Black. It's just gonna be in the crevices of the armor. Abaddon Black. Barely gonna see it. You know, the back of his leg could use some more paint. It looks a little bit flaky there. Stuff this thing in there. Make some room for my elbows. Yeah, what is that? I guess some tweeted a little piece of plastic stuff. Okay.
It's just plastic, Joe. What are you scared of?
It's a microplastic, Sadie. Don't you know about microplastics? They're terrible. They'll kill you or something. If it's a big plastic, it won't kill you, I guess. But if it's small enough, I guess it'll kill you. I don't know. The size of plastics are weird.
Remember to be positive.
Be positive. Fuck, I can't. How do you do this thing? Is it like this? I think it's, hold on. I think it's something like that, right? There we go. Be positive. And remember, Captain, be positive. Now, see that line I remember from Space King 2. I'm trying to remember some lines from Space King 3. I know there's plenty. I just can't remember. There's that time Bryce called Terry from the Galavantas Legion a stupid fat idiot. That was kind of funny. Oh wait, okay. No. My favorite joke was the one where Terry from the Galavantas Legion, and yes, I'm gonna say his full name in Legion every time, because there's only like 2 legions I know in all of Space King. There's the Coagulators, because they're funny, and there's the Star Defenders, right? So if I don't say Terry from the Galavantas Legion every time, I'm gonna forget what that legion even is. And what's with those Dark Angels, right? Like those had to be Dark Angels from the guys with the robes. He had robes. Didn't you see his robes? Yeah, the guy with the robes. Is he just a Dark Angel? Is his legion just Dark Angels? They were red with robes, which, you know, Dark Angels are dark green, but to be fair, Dark Angels pre-heresy did wear like red and black, so mainly black with some red highlights. So. And plus, you know, you couldn't have them the exact same color. So did you see his robes? I like that line. But yeah, my favorite joke was where Terry from the Galavantas Legion was just describing a gun. Like he just invented a gun, like a normal gun, like not even like a laser Psycho Warrior or laser pistol, just a gun. Like, so you're telling me that you got this fucking hammer with a spike on it that shoots the back of the gun, and then he points the gun at his face. That causes an explosion inside the gun that shoots a spike at the alien. He's just describing like a normal projectile gun. Oh man, I watched a lot of reactors to it, but like I didn't see anyone react to that joke and be like, "Yeah," point out the fact that he's just describing a gun. Maybe it was obvious, but I don't know. I kind of watch reactors to like agree and catch the jokes, you know.
Ew, you watch reactors?
I know. I know. I know. I don't know. Sometimes it's just fun to watch stuff with people.
Gross.
Well, you're here, SAT. You're here to watch me paint.
So you call this painting, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I do.
So what? You consider yourself a painter now?
I mean, okay, it's kind of weird. I mean, I'm painting. It's hard to describe myself as a painter. Yeah, so far I'm really liking Space King 3. The animation's better, and even about their what was that thing? Their lunchbox thing. That was pretty cool. If you don't know, it comes with a little golden statue of Space King that was shown in episode 3 of Space King. It comes with a condom, which is pretty funny. It comes with this little golden cup you could drink out of, and it comes with a fourth thing. A keychain or something? I don't know. I forgot what the fourth thing is. I also get the lunchbox, of course. But you know what I really want? I want a poster that says Star Defenders, like what you saw in the commercial. In the commercial, you see like a bunch of boys in their treehouse playing Space King, and one of them, I guess the main boy, he in the background, he had a big flag that said Star Defenders, and it looked just like. I want that. If they sell that, I'd buy the shit out of that. Right, like a big flag is supposed to be like the company standard, or just sell us the company standard. I'll buy that. That just says Star Defenders. That would be so cool. Rewatch Space King. You'll see exactly what I mean. Space, praise be to Space King. Plus, now they got their new symbol. It's like, hold on. Let me see if I can do it. I think I can do it on camera.
Phrasing, Joey.
Look, not everything's a dirty joke, Sadie. Yeah, it goes like, I notice they have their fingers curled. These fingers have them curled back. I was thinking something goes like this. You can make like angry eyebrows. Yeah, that's the Space King symbol. We are trusted subordinates, molded in his image. Here to fight the Xenos and stuff.
Oh god, I see the face on the fingers.
The face on the finger, guys. The symbol. Where was I when Space King 3? Sitting on my couch, doom scrolling. I'm like, oh shit, Space King's out. Okay. Let's go with a bit more black. I need to use the smallest brush. Number one. Good dollop of that. Splat that right there. Scubby. I'm going to assume the back of these girls are black. And probably the back of his vents are probably black too. Could be wrong, but I'll just paint it black. Am I wrong for painting like this?
Space King is more than parody with that much depth, or they're really good with finger posing.
I suppose. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of comedy to it. It's not just parody. And then again, parody and comedy kind of go hand in hand, would you say? And of course the animation's really good. It's only gotten better too. Buy more Space King merch. I want episode 4 out soon, please. Oh wait, plus the opening joke was pretty funny. Where like every single Psycho Warrior basically stopped everything they were doing, no matter how important it was, to blow up that planet with the guy on it. He had a really cool design. The guy with the scientist who made the female Psycho Warrior, with like the broken mask. His design was pretty cool because he had like a cybernetic eye, and like his helmet was constantly cracked open, revealing his face, showing how like crazy he was. A really cool design. Too bad they blew him the fuck up. A female Psycho Warrior. No, girls, alone! And then they blowed up the whole planet. Oh yeah, yep, that's good. There. Come back later with a roll of red, just to touch it up a bit. I painted a little outside the lines, but that's fine. I'll touch it up later. Let's get the undercarriage. As you do. Undercarriage painted, you'll be nice. Locked out. Let's redo the weenus, the underside of the elbow right here.
Joey, don't do sound effects while painting. That's not what a brush sounds like.
I'm just trying to stay. I'm just trying to stay motivated for Space King. For Space King. See a touch up right here. Elbow.
Hate monger just hates aliens.
Just hate aliens. Yeah, that was okay. To be fair, a lot of the lines I remember from the show are just from the commercials for some reason. Commercials are pretty memorable. He just hates aliens, mom. And then there's fuck off, Mindy. That's a good one. Do the thing, Jake. Do the thing. All right, all right. Be positive. That's just well, be positive. That's just the line from the second one. I got carried over to the third one. And remember, Captain, be positive. Let's paint some more of the undercarriage. Take the brush with some shine. Clean it up later, Captain. Clean it up later. I have a feeling this part's black too. I feel like this part right here is kind of like a peeking underwear kind of situation going on, so we're gonna paint that too. For discerning eye, everything looks like a mistake.
What do you think, Space King?
What do you think, Space King? No. Fuck off, Mindy. Oh. Thank goodness for Flaskets not selling out. Takes a lot of respect not to sell out like that. Too many series have sold out. Will not name a few, but you could probably think some off the top of your head. All right, here's a hint. North. Um. North. Hold on. How do I make this not too obvious? North. Large area of land abundant with green. Abundant with greenery. We're gonna have ourselves a time. Remember that thing I said about series that were parodies now becoming the thing they're parodying? I hate when I like paint a part and then touch it up to fix it, and then the touch up fucks it up, and then I have to redo it. But the touch up, the touch up. That's a bit better. That's pretty clean for me. His pauldron still looks like the red is kind of a bit thin. Right? It looks like the pauldron needs another layer of red on it. You got some red on you. It looks like I'm starting to see a bit of the undercoat underneath the pauldron, so I'll give another layer of red. Looks like a lot of it now. Hold on. Time for the pink Psycho Sword. And that pink effect going to be a little weird. I'm thinking I probably just highlight it in white. It's blood for the Blood God. Do you even have that layer of pink? It's a very red, no. Orange. Very neon pink color. I don't really see that kind of pink a lot. Rojo. Not rojo. Use. No. Looking through sepia, no. I'm looking through all my colors trying to find that level of pink. Can't say it's too common. Hard to... You know, Fist in red, no. I think a screaming pink. I'm gonna mix this with a little bit of white. This is a brand new cup. It didn't even open it. Mix. The day this thing runs out of the battery, the day it's up. There you go. Brand new. Everything. Ignore that. Let's try screaming pink. Sounds like it could use a little white. I don't think it's gonna be the right shade of pink. It's very dark. Very dark. This needs some more white. Must be good for like the. It's too dark. It needs to be a bit lighter. Isn't really getting the right color. Let's see here. We got White Scar. Yeah. A little White Scar with that. Just mix the paints. Guys, there's nothing wrong with pink lasers. Now, White Scar's still pretty chunky. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's pretty chunky. Needs a bit more mixing. Yeah, really put a lot of pressure on the head. We want to massage the head. We're still talking about pain, of course. Good and mix, right? Let's see here. A little less chunky. Still kind of chunky, though. Listening to these, need some steel balls. Maybe dump a quarter in there or something. Oh, here we go. I don't know where my steel balls went. Got a couple of these mixing balls. Put 3. Let's put 3 in. Don't want to spend too much on steel balls.
How cheap you gotta be that you're skipping out on steel balls? How much does these cost you?
It's not that they're expensive. It's just like I don't want to have to run out and buy another set of steel balls. It's like there's just something about Citadel White. It just loves clumping up. It just doesn't like to stay. Put a couple steel balls in here to help mix the paint up a bit. Let's see what we get. We just mix it up nice and good. It's a bit better, still a little lumpy. Yes, this is the massage stream. The whole stream is going to be me massaging my paints. Yeah, that's doable. Get a lump of that. There's a lot of water. This one's super water, you know. It's almost like a glaze now. Off the brush. Need to try. Paint the back of the sword. Yeah, that's pretty good actually. It's gonna take a couple layers. It's very water. It's like a glaze right now. This is very nice. Pink, neon, and white. Highlighted in white scar or something. Crystal water is going to take a couple layers to get this right. I kind of like a bit of the dark protruding from the sword. We should have covered the whole thing in what's this color called? Screamer pink. That sounds like an innuendo. Games Workshop, get on that. I like this effect where the glaze doesn't connect to the corners, so the corners stay dark. Happy accident. A happy accident. I'm gonna put this guy upside down so that way the paint kind of settles near the tip. So to do that, we gotta get him off of this baby here. Oh, look at that cheese pool. Now we're gonna get our magnifying glass. We're just gonna grab him by his tail feather. One. Such that. We'll leave him standing like this for a little bit. Oh, he's just standing upside down. Okay. We'll let him sit like this. That way his all of the paint from the glaze, the gravity brings it down to the tip of it, so it doesn't pool itself at the top. I mean, at the hilt. Pooling at the hilt, I don't. That's not really the effect I'm gonna go for. So we're gonna let him sit like that for a little bit. Take a look, see what we have here. Not bad. The glaze almost kind of makes it glow a little bit. It's adding another layer to that. Weird, the glaze has kind of gotten darker. Is it just me or did it get darker while I looked away? The hilt is in gold. Oh, yeah, I got that somewhere here. Let's see what I got. Metallic Vallejo. I like this color. Metallic Vallejo. A little globule of that right here. Actually, no, I don't. Actually, I don't really like Vallejos as golds. Actually, it's too watery. Like super watery. It's like hard to even load it onto the brush. Jeez, it's like the paint is like brush phobic or something. When I put it on, it barely sticks. Yeah, I'm using, but this is straight out of the brush. Not super strong. I'd rather use Games Workshop's as gold, honestly. Their gold paint's pretty good. It's doable. Has a nice sheen to it though. Get it on enough layers, you know, you can have something nice looking. Okay, I'm gonna dry this brush and I'm gonna absorb some of that pink that has gotten onto the hilt. I should really get, hold on. Let me get a napkin or something. Okay, I don't have a towel. I do have a shop vac. Or I do have a vac shop towel. Dry this, and then we're just gonna steal some of the paint that is overloaded onto the everything else, right on the hilt. Ah man, where's the Citadel Gold? Here we go. I like this color. Retributor armor. This is pretty nice. Right out of the pot, it looks great. It's still not clumpy. Look at that. Right next to the Vallejo's paint. Just to water it down a little bit. Yeah, this gold just goes right on. It's very nice. Very easy to work with. Let's see. Let's add another layer of pink to it. Yeah, the pink keeps going dark whenever I look away from it. I have to keep remixing, otherwise it'll just go dark. Well, the back of that looks nasty. The back of that could use the back of that's cycle sword. We're in layers. Seems the Psycho Sword has absorbed a bit of the gold, seeping up. You see, it's like seeping up. I should probably let that dry. Maybe I'll let that dry before I put another layer on. Let's work on a different color. How about the top of his head? Yeah, how about that weird brush thing he has? Thinking Evil Suns, maybe? Avalanche Sunset, maybe? Could try this. That is super crusted, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Oh my god, that is super crusted, Jesus Christ. Must have had an opening in it or something. This thing's straight clay. Not sure what I can do to revitalize this paint, but we'll see what we can do. Use 4 balls this time. Need heavy duty stuff. The balls in the pot. Get the balls in the pot. Come on. Anything? I need a little bit of water to reactivate the paint. That's super crusty. I could still kind of get it, but it's like it's super crusted on in there. It's like cheese. See what kind of cheese pull we can get off this paint. Okay, let's get the top of his head. Yeah, that's a nice color. Couple layers of that and we'll be good. Captain, no! Captain, turn your radios back on. You turn our radios off? The chef, high command, yammering on in my ear. I'm trying to collect relics. You know, their whole mission is it's a combination of a lot of things. One, the name Space King, great name. He's just king of space, right? Which is basically just what the Emperor of Mankind is, but like way less complicated. He's just the king of space. But also his mission is very much. It feels very. It feels like Vulcan's mission. You know Vulcan's thing, where it's like you got to collect all of the hammers, all 40,000 hammers of Vulcan, and then he comes back. It's kind of like that, you know. Collect all of Space King's relics. And I love how petty some of the relics are. Like they literally fought a whole last Xenos and lost men just to get a candle that Space King once lit. Like what? Then again, that is also very Warhammer. Like Warhammer can get pretty petty onto what they're trying to get for as little. Like they'll throw a bunch of lies to a cause that probably isn't worth it. That's very Warhammery. 40K coded. You think the pink's ready for another layer? I think the pink's ready for another layer. Yeah, I got a weird globular. Looks like Candy is Cycle Sword. So pink. Big boy. Oh, another genius thing about the show is it kind of infantilizes the characters because they're literally just children that like instantly turn into adults. So a lot of the things on how they act make a lot more sense. Like especially in Space King 3 with that one I'll just call him a Dark Angel. With that one Dark Angel at the end where it's like, you leave me no choice. I'm telling. And then the captain is like, no, he's gonna tell on us. They act like children so much. It's very clever because that is essentially the mentality of Space Marines, but this is sort of a trivialization of that idea because you know the Primarchs, they have daddy issues. Now you could argue, oh, it's more complicated than that, more funny. I mean, it is, but also like it's funny when it isn't. You know, it's funny when that actually is just the case and it's not that complicated. Which is what Space King does, and it does it really well. It's very funny. I like it. What do I color his mouth? I think I have silver. I think silver's the right color for this. Let's see here. Lead Belcher, maybe? The Brine Oxide. Where's my Lead Belcher? There you go. Base Lead Belcher. This was great for when I was painting my Kriegers. It's great. Use for silver. How'd Lead Belcher hold up? It's become watery a bit. We can use watery. Watery we can use. Fuck this up with me, hate monger. Or else I'll tell everyone about your unforgivable sin. Or did you think I wouldn't know this? He says something like that. Also, if you go through the animation on Space King, I noticed that they made the animation harder for themselves than they could have. Like if you watch episode 1, especially the beginning of episode 1, you notice a lot of them talk just by having their mouths glow, right? It's a very easy way to animate talking because you just make the mouths glow. But then I noticed they barely use that anymore in Space King 2, and even less so in Space King 3. Now really only the unnamed, unimportant characters that aren't part of the main crew only talk with their mouths closed and with just glowing mouth grills, right? Like for example, the coagulators guys and the Terry, right? They don't talk with their face exposed. But now you notice all of these what's it called? The captain and the Star Defenders, the group, right? Right, the main group, except for Hate Monger, I guess. But now you see a lot of them just talk with their grills open. And not only do you see them talk with their grills open, you also see the facial expression on their mask change or their helmet change, which is a very, you know, it makes the animation a little harder for them because they have to animate mouths and lips rather than just, you know, glowing grills. But I think it was the right choice. It shows that they're very passionate about their craft. It humanizes the characters a bit more than just talking masks or talking helmets. Very good choice, I'd say. It's very nice. I'm not an animator, but I respect all the hard work I see animators put into their work. Space King. Just hate aliens. This fucking broom handle they have on his head right now. I think I go back to touching up a little bit. There's black. There's black. Captain. Take a look. Not bad so far. Still needs a little bit of work. Let's take now the top of his head has a little white section. Let's paint out the orange parts first. It looks like it's pretty much the same color as his armor. Maybe a little bit more orange than red, but let's just stick with red. And I'd say they're probably right where the eyeballs are. So we'll measure where the eyeballs are and then go up. Two. There you go. That looks nice. Follow it here. I like making the sound effects when I paint. It helps me paint more accurately. We're just painting it a little bit bigger than it has to be because the white would just go right on top. It seems to fan out a little bit. It gets a little bit thicker at the top. Besides, the red will mix with the yellow and make it kind of orangey looking anyway. Okay, let's get a slightly bigger brush for this next part. We'll use the starter brush you get at the pretty much every single Warhammer Citadel. Literally called starter brush. I'm gonna get some white scar, give it a mix, give you a paint, good old mix. Grab some from here, put it here, put it later. Okay. Now just give it a good. Start at the top so really get all of the excess paint out. Now the paint's a bit thinner on the brush, should be easier to. You're gonna be all globular, you know? I want your paint globular. As you can see, I'm just painting over some of the orange red parts to make it a bit thinner. Well, the one thing though is Space King doesn't seem to adapt a lot of the religious aspects of Warhammer, which is fine. Honestly, it maybe although religious aspects of Warhammer could just overcomplicate the comedy. Right now, they're just doing kind of like a boys' club thing. They're not really doing any sort of religious aspect. God King kind of thing is what they normally do with Warhammer 40k. You know. I like the glaze. The texture's a little dull. The sword looks pretty good. I could probably, in the recesses in the middle, put in a little bit of this dark pink. I need a bit more watery, more glaze-like. I don't want it to stick it on too heavy, you know.
No green lasers?
No green lasers. No. There's nothing wrong with pink cycle swords. It's almost going like a little tooth. Little too dark. Yeah, yeah, Bryce, we know. That's actually a pretty cool effect, honestly. Okay, let's take the pink and just water it down. It's really watering down the pink right now. Just rub most of it off. Not bad. Now we're gonna take the thinnest brush. Take the thinnest brush we have. Moisturize it. Grab a little bit of the white scar. And using just the side of the brush, make sure your paint is nice and thick for this. Oh, actually too watery. The side of the brush, we're going to highlight. I feel like this white square needs to be a bit thicker for this. Because you don't want it runny. As soon as it starts being runny, then you have a problem. Non-runny, thick white paint. Brush. If I mess up, I just use my finger to clean it up. Finger in the water. I'll try the highlights a little later. Right now, the paint's a little too wet. It's too wet for that. Let's mark in his eyeballs. A little bit of the red. Nice, nice. Let's see if I get the side of his pauldrons. He has, we're gonna need the yellow for this one. It's just 2 arrows down. That should be pretty easy to do. I say, let me try it. Let me attempt to freehand this. Let's see how we do. Paint's a little too watery freehand. Like a glaze. That's doable. Bad. Not bad. We're just gonna clean that up a little bit with the red. A little bit better. Oh no, I touched my finger. Now it's all messed up. Don't worry. Fix that later. Get this side now.
Besides, there's totally nothing wrong with pink lasers.
Totally nothing wrong with pink lasers. It's like warrior life who wouldn't kill the green lasers. We're gonna let that sit for a bit. Let's try the highlights again. Let's see if we can get the paint to behave. It's a little better now. A little better out of the pot. Wait, what are we doing with the white? Oh, yeah, we're highlighting. That's right. I notice it helps if I just hold. You know, I just kind of went with it, and with a little bit of courage, it actually came out pretty nice. Could use a bit of cleanup, but it's actually pretty nice the way I see it. Okay, now to get that pink, I gotta take Screamer Pink and combine it with a bit of White Scar. So let's take the last of our White Scar. Pink here. Oops. Make our edge height lighter, even thinner, even edgier. Kind of want it to be like razor sharp. Not bad. It's very pinky, very gummy sword. And now let's clean up his not Aquila's, but his pauldrons a little bit. Start with another layer. On the other side, it's not, it's too see-through. It needs to be more dark. Not bad. And then we'll go over it with red just to really define those highlights. Any part I'm missing? He's looking pretty. Oh, fuck. The grills in the back of this thing are going to be a pain to get. Right there. Right there in the back. Right there. Those need to be black. And that's going to be hard to get the brush in without absolutely destroying and getting black all over the piece. Let's see what I can do though. Weird. These weird backpack things have vents on the front and the back. I wonder. Oh, fuck. I got some black over on the sword, didn't I? Wipe that off. It's fine. It adds a gradient to it. It adds gradient to it, you know? That's character. Let's see here. I'm gonna clean up the red a little bit. Almost used all of the Mephiston red that I banked out for this stream. I still have more. It's kind of surprising that I almost used all of it. Sorry, Evil Sun Scarlet, my bad. Thought this was Mephiston red. Oh. Let's start cleaning up his shoulders a bit. They need to be really tight. They just look like butterflies. Not going for butterflies. Okay, now this is the really fucked up side, so we really gotta clean this one up.
Joey D. King.
Oh, commercial break. Was it already time for a commercial break? Wow. His hands are all golden all over the place. Right now, I'm just doing clean detail. Clean up where the paint seems to have gone a little too far. Like, look at his fingers; they're all golden. St. James Bond, clean up those fingers. It's not bad. Again, it's these shitty shoulder armor repaints that I need to touch up again. Because the paint just comes off very easily. So let's try that again. Next is the rock. Go with this brush and let's see. We have Xandri dust. We got Rhinoxide. Maybe Rhinoxide. Rock that he stands. Was Rhinoxide? I think it was this one. Not bad. Take a look we have so far. Oh, hold on. I see a mistake right on the lip. Blue. How did you get there, Yellow? You weren't even close. Acrylics, am I right? Let's see. Shoulder logo could use a touch up. Let's use the negative and use red. Not bad. I'm gonna wrap it up for now, but let's take a good look at our Psycho Warrior captain we have here. Yeah. See the grills? Up, that's his shoulder armor. Sword nice and pink. Nice. Okay, that'll wrap up for now.